One of the biggest celebrations on the continent is getting into full swing here in West Michigan, and the biggest week is still to come.
Tulip Time is history, it's entertainment, it's natural beauty, and best of all, it's a lot of fun. So stay with us for the next half hour and see what happens when tulips meet.
Live from Holland, WZZM TV 13 is proud to present When Tulips Meet. This special broadcast is being brought to you by Versendal Lincoln Mercury. Discover your best values in downtown Holland. WHTC, Holland's hometown station. And by Tulsa Furniture, your Simmons Beauty Rest Sleep headquarters. Here are your hosts, Lee Ameyde and Juliet Dragos.
And this is Centennial Park in the heart of Holland.
It's one of the best places we could possibly be to tell you all about this year's Tulip Festival. Good evening. If you have never been to Tulip Time before, you'll want to stay with us and see why more than 150,000 people come here to Holland each year at this time.
And even if you've been here many times yourself, we have plenty of new things and new faces to show you this year. But Juliet, some of these new people are talking about some old traditions, aren't they?
You're right, Lee. Just about every high school girl in Holland takes part in a Dutch or klompen dance, and it's tradition. And as you might imagine, a lot of hard work and practice goes into getting ready for Tulip Time. But in addition to dancing, some do a lot more, and you have to see it to believe it. The Holland High School Marching Dutchman Band also performs at Tulip Time, wooden shoes and all. So for senior band members like Michelle Patterson and Jessica Bolender, you'd think they have all they can handle getting ready for graduation and playing in the band for Tulip Time, but think again. These two are also Dutch dancers, more importantly, exhibition dancers, which means they're among the best dancers in the most demand.
They travel around, and we're the cream of the crop, basically.
As exhibition dancers, these partners will perform 18 different times during Tulip Time, as well as perform with the marching band. Do you find that you are exhausted at this time of year?
Yes, very much so.
By the time we get done with Tulip Time, we're just ready to have a couple days off.
If you had their schedule, you'd be ready for a couple of days off, too. Take next Saturday, for example. That morning, they'll start dancing at 10 a.m. with 3 performances. At 1 in the afternoon, they'll dance at the pre-parade of bands. At 3, they'll go to the beginning of the parade route, change into their band uniforms, get their instruments, then march through the parade of bands. When they get to the end of the parade route, they'll have family waiting in cars who will drive them back to the beginning of the parade route. While in the car, they'll change back into their Dutch dance costumes and then dance through the entire parade route again. Is this highly unusual for kids to do this here in Holland during Tulip Time?
No, it's not. They all do it. They all have a fun time doing that, and that's nice to see that. Yeah, it's a lot of dedication on their part. You know, they've been practicing a long time.
How do you keep going?
I think it's a lot of adrenaline with Tulip Time and everything, because there's so many people and everybody's, kind of watching you.
In between band and Dutch dance, Michelle babysits every day and works another part-time job, while Jessica fits in 2 part-time jobs. And with both of them leaving the area for college, they have mixed feelings about this Tulip Time.
Yeah. Part of me I'm happy and part of me I'm sad, because I'm going to miss people.
It's been a lot of last things, the last band performance, the last Dutch dance practice. It's been a lot of the final ones, and that starts getting really sad.
And both girls say they hope to return to Holland after college, perhaps even become alumni dancers. Lee?
Well, no wonder those performers are so busy. There are a lot of different shows going on here all the coming week. Now, the Festival Musicale debuts less than a half hour from right now. A cast of more than 100 pays tribute to the best songs of every decade, going back to the gay 90s. Tomorrow evening, there is a gospel celebration featuring some of West Michigan's best Christian performers. Tuesday night, it's the Tulip Time Salute with Holland area high school students presenting a musical collage on 4 stages. Then on Wednesday and Thursday, I Believe in America America, a multimedia presentation of words and music in tribute, of course, to our country. And Friday, it's Barbershop on Parade, featuring nationally renowned barbershop quartets. And note that there will be 2 shows in 2 places going on at the same time. Now, there are also breakfast, lunch, and dinner theaters going on all this week. Now, if you'd like more detailed information, get a pencil and a paper ready, and we'll have that just for you a little bit later.
All right, Lee. And of course, while all those local productions are an important part of Tulip Time, big name entertainment is an equally important tradition here. And even if you missed the Smothers Brothers last night, there are some popular entertainers ready to perform this coming week, and you'll have several chances to see them. Now, country singer Tammy Wynette has won just about every honor possible in her 25 years of recording music. She'll be performing at the Holland Civic Center this coming Thursday through Saturday, and so will some stars of the Lawrence Welk Show, a longtime Tulip Festival favorite, accordion player Myron Florin, singer Tom Netherton, and dancers Bobby and Elaine. And then, of course, there's all the outdoor entertainment. There are 3 major parades coming up this week.
On Wednesday, the Volks Parade scours the streets of Holland after a traditional announcement is heard.
And of course,
It's the town crier's job to make sure the streets are not too dirty for a public event. So a brigade of costume scrubbers takes to the streets with pails swinging from shoulder yokes. They splash and scrub until the pavement shines. The parade begins at 2 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon.
another parade gives hundreds of area school kids the chance to welcome visitors. The Children's Costume Parade features children marching with colorful banners and signs depicting Holland's Dutch heritage. This event begins at 2 o'clock Thursday afternoon.
Then there's the grand finale next Saturday afternoon at 3. The Parade of Bands lives up to its name with more than 50 bands and floats. Now, each parade covers a 2-mile route. You can bring your own lawn chair, or you can buy reserved bleacher seats for 1, 2, or all 3 parades.
And there are, of course, clompin' dancers in each parade.
We know about them because we've been in those parades, and usually we follow the clompin' dancers.
And this is going to be our 5th parade together, so we're looking forward to the parade next week.
Absolutely. That's next Saturday. Now, all the persistent rains have been just too much for most of us this spring. In fact, George Lessons has guaranteed us that at least it's not going to rain for the half-hour show, and we're hoping that it won't. But has the rain been too much for the tulips? I'll show you in just a few minutes.
But for now, if you visit Tulip Time in the next week, you might want to spend a little time taking in a cruise along Lake Makatawa. It's a good way to take in a view of the Holland area you just can't get on land.
And welcome back to Centennial Park in Holland, where it seems that tulips are everywhere, and the same can be said wherever you go in the Holland area all this week.
You know, it seems so easy. You just buy bulbs and you plant them, but as you found out, Lee, it's something you just cannot take for granted.
That's right. Like growing anything, nobody can take it for granted, even the experts here in Holland who grow tulips, and they have some memories to prove it.
Well, one year, believe it or not, where we're standing, we were underwater. That's the weekend before Tulip Time, and then it dried out. That was scary. The next one would be what we call the Stem Fest. It was so hot in the high 80s that the flower just actually dried up. So we had no tulips for Tulip Time, but that's not going to happen this year.
Of all the flowers in the world, why does the tulip draw 500,000 people to Holland every year?
The variety. You think of tulips kind of in one way, and I like to see them mixed up.
There aren't many places that have this variety.
And there are hundreds and hundreds of varieties, and you can stroll through 12 acres at Beldeer's Tulip Farm and see just about all of them. If you're like most people, you don't think that this spring has been exactly ideal this year. This was taped just a few days ago, and I have to wear a jacket in mid-afternoon. Cold, wet, rainy, damp. But do the flowers like it? The answer is yes.
Well, this is beautiful Dutch weather. With this kind of weather, we get nice tall tulips, and it'll be a real good one. Believe it or not, tulips need a lot of rain, so we like to get about ½ inch to 1 inch a week. And weather in the 50s and 60s, if it gets too warm, they'll bloom short. And it's not quite the same as a real tall tulip.
So everything is pretty much right on schedule for the Tulip Festival?
Definitely. We had a good weekend this past one, and we expect a good 2 or 3 weeks more blooming yet.
And that's good news for Valdiers. They call the acres and acres of tulips their living catalog, as people from all over the country will order flowers for their own garden. Well, the tulips here at Valdiers all look great. The question is, why don't they always look this good in your home garden?
The biggest mistake is after they flower. Most people don't know how to take care of them afterwards. Once the bloom's done, they're ready to put their summer flowers in, and they need to let the green part die down slowly. That gives you strength for the next year. A lot of people mow them off right at the ground level. Biggest mistake. Everybody wants to know about the color of tulips, and they keep trying to develop new colors, including perfecting black tulips. But still, the two most popular colors are red and yellow. And what's the latest in tulips? The first tulip ever with more than one flower per stem. Just enough to keep people coming to Holland every year. How do you like all the tulips?
Good.
Okay, now you're from Holland, so you're used to this, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
But you're here anyway, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite color tulip?
Red.
Do you have red tulips at home?
Mm-mm.
No.
I just like them, though.
And everybody does like them this time of the year. Now, if you are planning on buying bulbs, you might pay slightly higher prices, they tell me, because you'll remember that Kurt said that tulips like cold, wet, damp weather, while in the Netherlands this year the growing season was much hotter than normal, so the supply is a little bit limited.
Yeah, you taught me a lot. I just learned something in that piece. Now, how do you suppose they got the tulips with more than one flower per stem?
I think probably genetic engineering, you know. They took some twins or whatever, and the wind kicks up here and through Centennial Park, and we're having a good time.
Yeah, we are. Well, Valdiers is one of Holland's most popular attractions, especially at Tulip Time. But there are others you probably want to know about if you're heading this way. There are two places where you can watch wooden shoes made right in front of you. There is the De Klamp Wooden Shoe Factory at Valdiers, or you can come here to Holland's original wooden shoe factory. It's a great chance for all of you to watch craftsmen of Dutch descent busily make authentic wooden shoes by hand and on antique machinery using methods that go back centuries. In fact, wooden shoes date back to the 1600s. And by the way, they became popular because they were more durable than leather and held up better in wet climates.
Another popular attraction at Tulip Time is Dutch Village. It's a recreation of a town in the Netherlands similar to that of 100 years ago. And for the next week, there's a continuous live entertainment with different events going on every 15 minutes. Now, the village also has museums, a Frisian farmhouse, and a barn, and of course, rides for children.
Well, we've also ridden those rides before, too. Well, Tulip Time is founded in Dutch heritage, of course, but just when did the first Dutch settlers come here and why? The answers are interesting, and they're just ahead.
And what's a better-known symbol of Holland than the windmill? That's why tens of thousands of people visit Windmill Island every year. You can see the 200-year-old windmill during Tulip Time if you'd like, or come by any time through October.
Welcome back to Holland, where everything seems Dutch at Tulip Time.
It always seems Dutch to me. The fact is, many people of many different national backgrounds live here now, but Holland was indeed founded by Dutch settlers who clearly left a lasting mark. And Eric Alvarez joins us now to tell us more about who these people were, why they came to the New World, and why they settled right here in West Michigan.
Well, Julie Lee, like many American settlers who came to the United States, the Dutch immigrants were fleeing religious persecution. 150 years ago, the state church of the Netherlands was imposing some pretty heavy religious restrictions. But a Dutch minister who opposed all of those church laws organized a group of his fellow Hollanders to leave their homeland and travel to the New World. But interestingly enough, West Michigan was not their initial destination. Minister was the Reverend Albertus van Raalte. Van Raalte and his wife and children led several Dutch families through New York and into Detroit. Their original destination was Wisconsin, but friends he made in southwest Michigan influenced him to colonize the area around Black Lake, now known as Lake Makatawa. The year was 1847.
Well, I think it's interesting that Holland, which was formed really around a religious movement to move away from persecution in the Netherlands, plant themselves in a wilderness such as this, would survive and prosper as it has. So many communities that were founded by a religious pastor or some religious group often petered out.
As the town began to flourish, a great fire in 1871 destroyed nearly 80% of the settlement. The community was challenged to rebuild itself.
The trials have tested the Dutch who've come here. You mentioned the fire of 1871. It was key people like Van Raalte, the original founder, who was still alive at that time, Isaac Kapan, who ran the major industry, who really made the decision and the commitment that we're going to rebuild in this location.
In the 1920s, another series of fires severely damaged a blossoming vacation business. But again, a strong community pulled together, and the effort brought Holland new technologies. Adding the Tulip Festival 66 years ago cemented Holland as a resort destination. Now, we've only briefly touched on the history of Holland. However, a local theater called the Knickerbocker Theater has an excellent 20-minute program entitled A Trip Through Time. And that show offers a much more extensive history and legacy of the city of Holland.
Now, Eric, how did this festival get started?
Well, Lee, there was a lady back in the late 20s by the name of Lida Rogers who decided to plant tulips in the area because of the ties between Holland and the Netherlands.
Yeah.
A couple of years later, the city fathers found that the event was so popular, so many people were coming just for that they decided to organize a larger event around that. And 66 years later, you've got the Tulip Time.
The rest, as they say, is
history.
All right.
Thanks for that report, Eric. Interesting.
Now, if you want to learn more about Holland's heritage, there are two places in particular you might want to visit. The Holland Museum and the Kapan House Museum are both open 7 days a week, and a $3 ticket gives you admission into both. Between them, the museums present 150 years of Holland history, along with some special items and displays from the Netherlands. If you want to take young children along, there's also a new area just for kids this year. It's called Kinderplatz, and I love that name.
I know, Kinderplatz. It's a complete area dedicated to entertaining children. Now, Kinderplatz will offer a petting zoo, art tents, food vendors, and plenty of musicians, jugglers, and magicians. Organizers of the new edition say there will be events scheduled for children at all times of the day throughout the festival.
Enjoy.
I think it's nice to have something for this age group. I feel that Tulip Time was centered around more senior citizens, so brings us out. It's nice for the family.
It's a new thing for the festival this year. It was brainstormed about a year and a half ago. They wanted to get involved with the community a little bit more, offer something for children themselves.
And you do have to purchase tickets for entry into Kinderplatz.
Well, don't go away. When we return, we'll tell you how to get more information on all the Tulip Time shows and activities.
And once you come to Holland, one of the best ways to learn about the city and this festival is to hop aboard the Tulip Trolley for a 75-minute narrated tour. We are back live at Centennial Park in Holland at the heart of Tulip Time activity.
And who better to join us now than the new executive director of the Tulip Time Festival, Mary Dijstermars. Thank you for being here.
Mary.
Thank you.
It's a great night in Holland. Now, first question is, you're facing more and more competition all the time, especially in the Midwest, from festivals like the Tulip Time Festival. Is that a long-term concern for you here at the festival at all?
I think competition is good. I think it's good for everybody. And I think it challenges us to stay on our toes and boost up our marketing efforts to make sure that we're doing things right and attract visitors.
Yeah. Now, Mary, this is one of the 10th largest festivals in the country, but are you planning anything in the future to attract even more visitors here to Holland?
Well, I think what we're trying to do this year especially is boost up our marketing efforts locally. We'd love to have more West Michigan tourists, come into the festival, enjoy all the many activities. We love the motor coach traffic. The #1 state where we get bus groups from is Pennsylvania.
Huh.
And we really attract groups from all over the country as well as internationally. But we really would like our local people to come out and enjoy the events, and that's where we're focusing.
Now, the population of Holland is changing. There are more diverse groups, the Hispanic population most notable. Do you think that the festival has to do anything to make itself more diverse?
We are. First of all, yes, we are a festival that celebrates the Dutch, ancestry of our town, but we also celebrate the tulip, which is, appeals to everybody. And we offer many events that are not really just Dutch. A lot of our shows and our entertainment, especially this year with our Kinderplatz event, we had several different ethnic groups represented, And Tammy Wynette's not Dutch, and the Smothers Brothers aren't, even though they claimed to be last night. And a lot of our shows like Festival Musicale, I Believe in America, those shows appeal to everyone. So we feel like we really are diverse.
And in fact, when I was doing my research on the tulip, I found out that the tulip isn't even Dutch. It's in fact from Turkey.
Yes,
so there you
you're
go.
right. You're right.
So there is something for everyone here.
There is.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mary Dicemore, Executive Director of this year's Tulip Time Festival.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Okay, we've been promising all along that we would tell you how to get information on any of the Tulip Time Festival shows and attractions. I hope you have your pencil or your pen out by now and a piece of paper, so here we go. Here's the direct number to the Tulip Time Festival office. It's 1-800-822-2770. Staffers are there day and night for the next week, and if anyone can answer your questions, they're the ones. You can also pick up brochures at a half dozen or so Tulip Time booths in Holland and at lots of businesses, including many service stations. And both the Holland Sentinel and the Grand Rapids Press have published very detailed schedules.
You know, what do you have here?
Well, I have here the new TV 13 map, which you can pick up at various booths around the city. And as we found out today, you know, you think you know the city of Holland, but if you're not here every day,
you're right.
And there's a little bit of traffic, and there's lots of people from Pennsylvania driving around who don't know where we're going, it's a good idea to have a map.
Yeah,
so.
this is really handy, and you can pick it up again at any booth here at Tulip Time. Well, our time is up, but yours isn't. There's a whole week of Tulip Time still to come here in Holland.
Perhaps you'll think about visiting the festival yourself, and as you can see, there is plenty to do here both day and night. So good night from all of us here in Centennial Park in Holland.
So long.
Today's live broadcast from Holland has been brought to you by Talsma Furniture, your Simmons Beauty Rest Sleep headquarters, WHTC, Holland's hometown station, and by Versatile Lincoln Mercury. Discover your best values in downtown Holland. When Tulips Meet has been a special live presentation of WZZM TV 13.